Right, that is all good. Um, right, everybody. I've got the stream started earlier to get you in, but when it is time to go, I will actually start it properly. But I'll give everybody a few minutes to get themselves in before we actually get going. Right, where is everybody? Down in the chat, nice one, JC Comms for running comms. Absolutely, mate. It's my pleasure. Right. Let's get straight into this then. Welcome along, everybody, to Singapore, where tonight we host the Race of Champions event brought to you by the IPKC Karting Championship. And I tell you now, we are in for an absolutely brilliant race weekend this week. It's not even weekend, actually. It's Thursday, but it is set up by the brilliant Ash Barker, of course. And the championship mainly consists of the world champions from the three leagues. Over 28s, of course, IFR and ERL as well. It was supposed to be GFR, but sadly, they have had to drop out this weekend. But we are in here for qualifying then. The best part of 17 minutes, and we have 18 drivers on the board for today, this Thursday evening, out here under the lights in Singapore. As the first drivers to come out the pit lane, we will have a look who they are because I have no idea. We have a yellow car. Yellow this weekend is, it's not yellow, it's orange. Orange out there today is the over 28s. It is Turbo Snail out there at the moment, and I actually do commentate on their league, so I can tell you Turbo Snail is absolutely rapid, and it is going to be good to see how quick they are this weekend. I keep saying weekend, it is a Thursday evening, but we'll see how well they are on this Thursday night then. It is Turbo Snail, first driver out there, followed by one of his teammates in the orange. It is not Dan's Motorsport, it is Peninsula, the world champion. Of course, obviously, this consists of world champions. Peninsula, one of the most recent world champions out there in the over 28s. And Mr. BBR Peninsula hopefully can do very, very well this weekend, this Thursday even, for his team. But the best part of 16 minutes of qualifying left on the clock, and we will see what we have got on the board first. Like I mentioned, Turbo Snail, and we will watch that one soon as he makes his way towards the turns 14 here in Singapore, and we'll see what he can do in this qualifying session out there on the outlap at the moment. Heading down towards turns 16 and 17, and then soon to be onto the final corner and onto his flying lap this weekend, the first flying lap of the weekend for everybody, and we will see what Turbo Snell can do as he makes his way around turns 18 and 19 here in Singapore. It is the orange car then across the line to start the flying lap, and we will keep updated on that one throughout this session. At the moment, we'll go back down to Peninsula, who will go around the final corner and start their flying lap as well, but just behind the white cars of ERL then are starting to emerge from behind, and that is who it is. It is Maka, and there is somebody else I cannot see. It is not Master, it's somebody else. Completely missed him. I cannot see him. It is not him. So Maka though is up ahead and crosses the line, starts their flying lap. And we'll see what they can do for this weekend. Turbo Snail, obviously the one still up ahead, and if he doesn't invalidate this one, he'll be the first time on the board this weekend. Down towards turn 10 now, and Turbo is on an absolutely brilliant lap at the moment out there for the over 28s league. Gotta say, this car looks absolutely lovely under the lights here in Singapore. And round the turn 13 he goes, activates stat, DRS, back wing opens up wide, and now making his way down towards the end of this lap, fastest in the middle sector now, and Turbo's on a brilliant lap. Just behind him is his teammate of Peninsula, who is on the mediums at the moment, and he is on not a too bad lap, I believe. But it is Turbo Snell who makes his way towards the final corner here in Singapore, the first lap of this weekend. What will it be then here in Singapore? Turbo puts on the board a 1 minute 31.1 for a banker lap, and we'll see if that one gets beaten over the course of this qualifying session. 13 minutes on the clock and a lot more time to do it. Peninsula goes over the line, puts it in second, cannot deny his teammate there, and it's 1:31.5 on the board. Second position for Peninsula at the moment. The next driver to cross the line is Maka, but he is on the intermediates. I'm not sure if I'm seeing that right or not, but it will not be a quick lap for him on the board this Thursday evening. And then as he goes around the final corner, and it'll be a very slow one as he makes his way up towards the line. It is a 1:36.6 for the Maka car, but Flappy Dragon then across the line, 1:30.4 on that lap around set. Provisional pole this weekend from the rest of them, and just over the line now is another over 28's orange car. We'll see who that is. It is Mr. Ash Barker, who's the man who set all of this up this weekend, and he slows down to go into the pit lane, actually, and round the final corner goes one of the black cars of IFR then as, do not know how you pronounce that name at all, J7BP? Call him BP. BP across the line with a 1 minute 30.0 and goes quickest out of the lot this weekend. Then Harry across the line takes it out of nowhere then with 1:29.5. That came out of nowhere then as the black car even of IFR with a 1 minute 30.5. He goes P5, but Slick across the line then with a provisional pole takes over Harry and BP with a 1 minute 29 flat. After that one, Chow across the line, P3, 128.8, 129.8 even, and that is not a bad time at all. There's more drivers towards the line. Jefferdorp with an 8/10 improvement at the moment on this lap and making his way down towards turn 9, midway through sector 2 here in Singapore. And Jefferdorp's not on a bad lap at the moment. We'll see what he can do. He's got the black car up ahead of him, maybe on the straights he can pick up some slipstream, and we'll see if that will work out for him in due course. Then with the 11 minutes on the clock here in qualifying, and it is a lovely, lovely qualifying session so far from Slick with 1 minute 29 flat. That black and green car does look good under these lights here in Singapore, I've got to admit. And it is Mr. Yala Boy in the chat. Sorry, mate, I wasn't even looking at the chat. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you. It's good to see you back. I'll be back to ZRL this Sunday. I apologise. Is it this Sunday? I forgot. New season, isn't there? When's the new season starting? Good. Currently in a tournament, 8th. Who's in a oh, you're in a tournament. Nice one, mate. Not too bad at all then. With the best part of 11 minutes of qualifying, we have invalidation from Slick, who's on provisional pole at the minute, and he goes into the pit lane just now. It is Chow down by 10 seconds on this lap at the moment. It is Obolf who goes into the pit lane. Mezzinator, didn't see him here. Mezzinator is a quick driver indeed. I've got some good commentary on him. Just call me J7. My bad, mate. That'll do for me, J7. It's good to see you in chat, mate. Harry was in ZRO. Yes, he was, mate. Yes, he was. He's a very quick driver now, y'all. I'll tell you that. He's actually not too bad. Got disqualified in Spa during quali just before no name corner. Mezzinator out there on the lap, his quickest, 1 minute 31.3, and we will see what he can do at the moment. Franz, who is out there at the moment, and in the black car, so obviously it's an IFR driver, and that is not a bad car either. Very, very stealthy then as he makes his way towards the final few corners here in Singapore. Franz across the line. What would his first time of the weekend be? It'll be a P6 for Franz. That is not too bad at all then. 1 minute 30.5, and about equals his teammate there, Obolf, in P7. And what else can we look at? Jeffernort is out there and not on a quick lap at the moment. Is Hulu out there on a lap? Yes, Hulu is on a lap, and he's on the soft compound tyres at this moment in time. We will see if that works out well for him. Speaking of that, he does go quickest in the middle sector, and that is what he wants to see then. Hulu, I do like this guy. He's very nice. He approached me very nice the other day in messages, and I've seen him in what I can't remember. Was it if it's white, it is ERL. I've seen him in another league in Hulu. Then around the final corner, crosses the line, and it'll be a P5 for Hulu. Mezzinator retires here in qualifying, and we will see what else is going on. Dan's Motorsport in the garage. Dan's still yet to put a lap on the board. Ash in 16. And what else can we look at then? Is Franz on the lap? Franz is down by 5 seconds. Yol says, how many safety cars will there be? I don't know how many safety cars there will be, because we've got a mixture of 3 leagues in this one, so it could be absolute carnage or it could be brilliant. I have no idea. But Franz nearly goes into the wall. Yol says 2 safety cars. I will say 3 then, to just one-up him there. And the Jeffernort then, who is up at the moment on time by only a small margin. But he's making his way down towards turns 16 and 17 here in Singapore. And that orange car now, with the hints of blue on it, is making its way around towards the final corners here in Singapore. Jeffernort's only be able to do P13 so far, and he goes into the pit lane. At the moment, is Maka out on the lap? Maka is he up by 1.7 seconds? We'll have a look. I think he probably will be, actually, if he's at 1 minute 36 lap. As Maka, who did put it on provisional pole earlier on, I believe, is making his way around the track, and we'll see if he can go any quicker on this lap around. At the moment, is there any team that's kind of dominating? I would put it as Black's IFR. IFR are absolutely dominating so far. Then with up there, Slick P1 is J7, P4, Dan 7, Franz 8, and Obolf 9. Yol says, where's ZRT at? ZRT are down the drain, mate. Completely down the drain. I'd love a ZRT return, but I'm so busy with commentary, I wouldn't be able to do it at all anymore. It's the same with ZRO. I've got no time with that anymore at all as well. But Master Strike with a lap coming on the board. And he is making his way towards the end of this lap. And he's not put a lap on the board just yet, but this will be his first lap of the weekend, and we are about to see what it will be then for Master. Round the final corner in that white car. It is a P5 at the moment, and change that domination from the black car right to the white cars of ERL. That is absolutely brilliant, and ERL are dominating this qualifying session so far. We'll see if they can continue that through and into the race. Dan is not improving one single bit. Ash is down by a lot as well. Our only hope's Dan now. The other Dan, actually. Somebody else has just gone up there. Is that J7? J7 improves to P3 at the moment. That is absolutely lovely for the black and green car. And Dan did he just improve by a second on that lap? Yes, he did, and makes his way up to P14. Drivers out on their out laps. We've got 5 minutes of qualifying remaining, and it is, who do we have? We have Master, who is he out there? We'll keep an eye on this one, see if he's actually on the lap or not. And also Maka. Maka's down on time. He will not be putting a good time on the board for this weekend. Yo says, make me Zederalona. No can do, mate. No can do. Is Master on a good lap? I cannot tell. No, he will not be on a good lap at all, because he is already at the 1 minute 25 mark, and he's got quite a bit of track to make up still. And we'll see what this time will be. It won't be too great for him, but he might go into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Master goes with the blinking on the backside of his car into the pit lane, like I said, and the white car now, number 70 on the back of that car, makes his way into the pits. And Obolf is out there and down on time by a tiny bit. Turbo Snail, who's also out there, is improving in the middle sector, and first sector, and we will keep an eye on that one when we can. Dan down on time, but Peninsula, the latest world champion in the over 28s, world champion for the Friday that I normally commentate on. What a quick driver he is, and this is now the time where he tries to demonstrate that. He goes a second quicker in the middle sector, and it goes fastest in the middle sector throughout the racing track so far. Peninsula, this is really where he tries to prove his worth then, as he makes his way around turns 16 and 17. We'll see what he can put on the board. He's only got a 1 minute 31.5 at the moment. 3 minutes of qualifying left so far. Peninsula across the line, and it's a P7 at the moment. 1 minute 30.2. And that is not bad at all. It's a P7 for him. And I thought he could have got higher than that, but props to him, not too bad. Right then. Giles in the stream chat. Come on, over 28's evening, Jack. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you once again. Obolf retires from the session. We've got 2 minutes of qualifying left, and we will see what is going on around the track at the moment. Flappy Dragon, who is on a 5/10 improvement so far. And never mind, he improved by 5/10, makes his way up to P5. That is not a bad effort at all. Peninsula into the pit lane just there. Closing stage of qualifying now, and Turbo Snail is absolutely rapid out there on track at the moment. Over 28s. This is their chance to make their way back up to the top where they belong then. Turbo is making his way down towards the final few corners here in Singapore, and he's on a brilliant time so far. It is Turbo Snail with 1 minute 31.1, fastest time at the moment. He makes his way around the final corner. What can it be then for Turbo Snail across the line? It is a nearly 2/10 improvement. I really bigged that one up because he only stayed in P14. But that is not too great at all. But well done, Turbo, for improving a little bit. We have Jeffernaut, who is improving by 2.5 tenths in the first sector as he makes his way towards the end of sector 2. As he will cross, I say that, he's still got quite a while actually. We have a minute of qualifying left. 1 minute remaining, and this is the point where most drivers will should be out on their out laps if they want to put a time on the board. Quite a lot have retired from the session as we take a look now towards Hulu. Actually, he was going around the final corner to start their flying lap. Is there anybody actually on a flying lap at the moment? Ash is out there on the lap. Turbo, he's out there on the lap. Dan has improved by a second and makes his way up to 131.2. Turbo's down by 4 tenths. It's not what he wants to see at all. We'll see what Ash Barker can do then as he makes his way around turns 10, then leading on to 11, and We'll see as he crosses the Sector 2 line soon. He will go over the bridge section, round the hairpin and down towards the end of Sector 2. We'll see what Ash's Sector 2 time can be. Can it be quicker than his original? We'll see what he can do. Then he goes over, and it is 2/10 quicker than his other one. He's P14 so far, and we'll see if he can make his way up towards the top. Then at the end of qualifying, the flags, the checkered flags, are out then at the end of qualifying, and now the rest of the drivers have only got a few seconds to cross the line. Now it's Ash who's going to head his way down towards the line. It is Ash Barker round the final corner, 1:30.6 his fastest time. Now we move it up to a P11 then, voice crack, P11, and it is a nearly 3/10 improvement. That is absolutely brilliant. Franz is up by nearly 2/10 of a second at the moment at the closing stage of qualifying. Dan nearly up by 2.5 of a second. Dan's Motorsport is out there and invalidated. He will not be putting a time on the board today. Hulu is up by nearly 6/10 of a second. Where does that come from? He might be on for a P3, P2 time. As it's looking so far, Hulu is on an absolutely rapid one this weekend. The final lap of this weekend, he crosses the line, and it's a P2 for Hulu at the end of qualifying. 1:29.4, goes a 10th quicker than Harry at the end of qualifying. That is absolutely sensational. And Jeffenot is down on time. Dan's Motorsport will not put a time on the board. And that is the end of qualifying. Slick is your pole sitter this weekend then here in Singapore. Slick obviously for the IFR League. And Slick puts it on pole position by 0.4 of a second. As qualifying concludes, and the finishing results for the Singapore qualifying session for the Race of Champions are on the board now. Then it's Slick who takes pole position this weekend from Hulu, and then from Harry in P3. Harry was doing so well, sticking it in P2 the whole entire qualifying. And full quali, ain't it? I'm not sure, mate. Probably is full quali. I probably got it wrong. It says qualifying 1. It is full quali, actually. I did not realise that at all. And it's going to be a longer night than usual then. I did not realise that at all. But we have 2 more qualifying sessions ahead of us, and I cannot wait. Right, everybody, we have qualifying 2 on the board now, and it is Q2. 14 minutes of qualifying left on the clock, then we have 10 minutes, and then we have about a 35-minute race just after that. But it is 15 drivers left on the board now. We've had a few of them knocked out, because obviously qualifying 1, now we have qualifying 2, and it will be Maka coming out of the pit lane. There's quite a few more that have come out before him, and we will take a look at that one now. Master, ERL looking strong. ERL are looking very strong. And we see Harry coming out of the pit lane. We will see who will be the first driver to put a time on the board. Drivers out there on their out lap at the moment, and it will be a white car first to put a time on the board for this qualifying 2. Let's see if I can find the white car. Yes, I can. It is Hulu. Out there towards the final corner here in Singapore. Hulu on the out lap now goes on to the flying lap then here in Singapore. And we'll see later on in due course what that time will be. Peninsula, second to cross the line to start their flying lap. And then there's a black car as well behind that, which will be starting their fast lap as well. It is Slick, who went on fastest time on qualifying 1. And we'll see how fast he can go in this session then. Obviously, remember, all of these are banker laps, and we'll see what all of them are, like I mentioned, in due course. But up ahead, it is the white car of Hulu. And so far, not having a too bad lap at all out there. Yo, I screwed my way, so I cocked it. Oh, that's sad, mate. Very sad. You can have ZRL ownership for that. I'm joking, by the way. Right, we have orange. There's an orange car of. It was Jeffinaut who had a bit of a moment, I think, just around the back. We did miss that, but he had a bit of a moment, and now luckily back on track, and nothing too bad about that one. At all. But up ahead then. Like I mentioned about 4 times, we have Hulu, who is quickest in the first sector. Obviously not too hard because he is the first man out there at the moment. But that white car, I say white car, it's red to be fair, but the red car then, making its way towards the end of the sector and the end of this lap here in Singapore. And he makes his way towards the end of the lap. It is Hulu, the first driver to put a time on the board in qualifying 2. It is a 1:30.8, and that will 1,000,000% get beaten here. And as I mentioned that, Peninsula crosses the line and beats it by a 1/10 of a second there. And then Slick with a 1:29.2. That came out of nowhere. That was a lot quicker than the other 2 drivers. The guy that went quickest last time around is now quickest in this time around as well. And J7, who is 16P5 Obolf with a P2 at the moment. And next driver to cross the line is an orange of the Jeffinaut then. He goes across the line. It's P6 for him. Slick has really, really bad connection issues. That's not very good, is it? Really, I've noticed that, you know, he's lagging all over the place. He has bad connection issues, but he's putting it quickest. Honestly, mate, I don't know what's going on here. But we will go back to the line, and there's more people crossing the line. It's Ash now with a P8 on the board at the moment. Maka with a P3 as well. They both cross the line simultaneously. We have a white car towards the line of Harry. Harry went second, and he goes second once again in this session. It's a 1:29.5 this time around. Dan says rain in the race. Yes, I know, mate. I'm pretty sure it's dry, wet, and then dry in this race today. And we have Flappy out there on a lap. We have Franz out there on the lap as well. Chow is closest to the line more than ever, though. It is Chow across the line with a P3 then. 1:29.5. That is not bad at all then. And then puts his way up there level with his teammates in P2 and 3. Who else do we have out there at the moment? Who can we take a quick look at? We have Ash, who is improving by 8.5 seconds. That is not very hard, obviously, because of the time that he set previously. I think that's Franz across the line, 1:29.8. And as you can see, the times are getting quicker here in Singapore then. It's 1:29.2 quickest at the moment. I'm pretty sure it was 1:29 flat for the fastest time in qualifying 1. So we will see how that one pans out. Oh, Peninsula goes round then. P8 at the moment, 1 minute 30.7 quickest for him, and just narrowly avoids that barrier there. And he brings his way back onto the track safely, and hopefully doesn't hit anybody in the process. That is a lovely, lovely car, that is. Is that Ash? Ash is on the lap. Yes, he is. Starting a lap now. And we will keep an eye on that on Mezzinator. Having issues, leaving the session. But Harry out there in P2, who apparently is in the pit lane, but he's driving about. Don't know what's going on there. Is there connection issues with everybody? I'm not too sure, but it is Chow with a 6.2 second slower lap at the moment. We will not be watching that one. Flappy Dragon 3.7 seconds down. Peninsula down by a fine margin. Ash is out there on the lap at the moment, and he's going slowly. I'm not really sure what is going on at the moment. Have we got... Ash going very slowly at the moment, and I think saving his ERS for the next lap around, so hopefully he can go quicker. Dan out there at the moment, and quickest in the middle sector. That is what we love to see from Dan in the black car. It's IFR for this one, as he makes his way down towards turns 16 and 17, and towards the end of this lap here in Singapore, under the lights this weekend. And it is Dan towards the line then. No time on the board for him at the moment, but he goes around the final corner. Dan to the line, it'll be a P5, 1 minute 30.1 for him this weekend so far. Banker lap as well, remember, so not too bad at all. But he has to improve on that one quite a bit if he wants to make his way up to the top positions. He already is in the top position, but if he wants to progress even more, just say Ash, who is saving up his ERS. Has he got enough to go again? Does he think he has enough to go again with 7 minutes of qualifying? No, he goes into the pit lane at the end of this one. And anyone in the stream chat, I would like to know quickly, is the race 50% or is it 100%? I will force safety car now at duty range. As we have, is Dan on a lap? I can't remember. I think he's on a lap. Actually, he's got a decent little bit amount of DRS, and we'll see what he can do for this lap around. 1 minute 30.1 is his quickest, and now on this one down by 4.4 seconds. That will not be a quicker lap in DJ7 across the line with 1 minute 30.8 this time around. As we have 5.5 minutes then of qualifying left here, and remember even, this is not all of qualifying. We have 5.5 minutes, then we have another additional 10 minutes after that, and that will be the final 10 battle, showdown, whatever you want to call it. We have 10 drivers after that one. 5 will be knocked out after this session, and we'll see who those will be at the end of this one. At the moment, it is J7, Ash, Jeffnaut, Dan, and Master who will be all knocked out at the end of this qualifying session, but hopefully some of them can improve on their laps. We are nearing the end of qualifying at the moment, and we will see drivers start to come out of the pit lane soon to put their final laps of the weekend on. J7 out of nowhere then with 1 minute 29.1. He puts it on provisional pole this Thursday even, and puts it on P1 at the moment. And we'll see if he can maintain that lead at this moment in time. He hasn't really been up there in the previous session, but now making his way right up to the top. And he is on par with his teammate Slick in P2. And it is a 1-2 at the moment for the IFR League. And we'll see, hopefully, they can keep themselves up there. Macca on an outlap, Peninsula on an outlap, Master out there on a lap as well, and he is not doing too bad on them softs at the moment. Hopefully he can go quicker. He is flashing on the backside, and 8% ERS. He will not be putting a good time on the board really with no ERS like that, but we will still continue to watch it until we have a good lap on the board by somebody. And that is the lap we've been looking for then. It is Maka apparently goes quickest, but J7 still, never mind, it's because they've put it on the exact same time. Then Maka with a 1.1 second improvement. And J7 and Maka both managed to set a 1 minute 29.129. Exact same time set on the board, but because J7 set it earlier, he is still above at the moment. It's J7 first, Maka second, and Slick third at the moment. Master, who is, I don't think is on a good lap actually. He's got 14% ERS, so I don't think much is really going to happen. Then as he makes his way down towards the final corner, and it might not actually be a too bad lap even as he makes his way across the line. It is Master then, with not an improvement at all. It is a 1 minute 29.555, and that is a decent time. It is Slick who retires, but it is all good because he's in P3 anyway, and he's got nothing to worry about in this session with 3 minutes of qualifying left on the clock. And Obolf with the outlap at the moment. Flappy with the outlap as well. P9 and 10 they are at the moment. Peninsula on a lap at the moment, and we have yellow flags around in Sector 3. It is a black car of IFR, and we'll see what is going on over there then with the best part of 3 minutes still left of the clock of qualifying. And now you start to see everybody coming out of the pit lane to put their final times on the board here in the second qualifying session for the Race of Champions this weekend, this Thursday even. And we will have a look what is going on around. It is 2:22 on time at the moment, and Maka, who retires from the session, yet again another driver that has got absolutely nothing to worry about, and so does J7 as well. The top three all retired at the end of qualifying 2. And now we see Franz, Dan, Flappy, Peninsula, Hulu, Ash, Jeffinaut all out on outlaps at the moment. Ain't no way we said at the same time. I thought that as well, mate. I thought the game glitched out, to be fair. That's crazy. But it is the same time at the top with J7 and Maka, and you do not see that very often at all in league racing. As we do see somebody coming out of the pit lane, obviously, because it's team player cards, we can't see who it is. It's a green car, and we will take a look who that is then coming out of the pit lane at this moment in time. It is Dan. Dan in P15 at the moment. We've got a minute and a half left of qualifying. The drivers in danger of being put out is Flappy, Hulu, Ash, Jeffinaut, and Dan. And at the moment, all of them have got a decent chance of making their way up there and past and into the top 10 so they don't get taken out in qualifying 3. Jeffinaut out there trying to improve at the moment. It's a 1:31.8, his fastest time at the moment. Dan has not improved, not even put a time on the board even at the moment. Ash is out there on an outlap as well, and will be trying to put a time on the board soon as he makes his way around the final corner and will start his flying lap. Hulu about to do the exact same thing. Flappy's out there but not improving, and that is not a good sign at all because he's in P11 and in danger of being knocked out in this qualifying session. 1 minute 30.3 his fastest time. This is where Flappy really needs to pick up the pace, find the time, and master this final lap of the weekend that he can do, because 30 seconds on the clock. He's got more time to do one more lap if he wants to, but he won't have the best part of ERS. We'll see what he decides to do then. As Flappy towards the line, can Flappy improve? It is a 1 minute 30.3, cannot get up there. And Flappy stays in P11 this lap around then. Hulu, fastest in the first sector, nearly 4/10 improvement. We're going to definitely keep an eye on that one when we can. Jeffinaut a second quicker. Flappy up to P4 then, apparently. I think that's just all of a sudden happened now. And qualifying now concluded. The checkered flags come out. And that is the end of Q2, ladies and gentlemen. It is Flappy P4 at the moment and out there on a lap. Harry outlap. It is Chow on an outlap. Franz on an outlap. Jeffinaut is retired. Sorry, not retired. Jeffinaut has actually finished qualifying. We have Dan, who is up on time and around the final corner. It is FTR Dan across the line. And he improved by half a second. Very, very respectable indeed. And it's P5 for Dan. Obolf P11 at the moment, down on time, will not be improving, so he will be knocked out at the end of this session. Hulu, he's got to really improve on this lap, else he gets knocked out here in qualifying. Round the final corner. Okay, then my game must be desynced because he didn't even cross the line when he went quickest there, but it is a 1 minute 28.9 for Hulu. He takes the top position and now quickest out of the lot. He knocks Jeffinaut down into P11, and he is knocked out of qualifying. Ash is knocked out of qualifying. Peninsula knocked out, and so is Dan as well. Obold, the final driver to be knocked out, and we now have our remaining top 10 here in qualifying. Then as Flappy crossed the line, it's 8 tenths quicker on that lap around. As qualifying soon to be concluded, in your top 10 will be Hulu, J7, Macca, Slick, Flappy, Chow, Dan, Master, Harry, and Franz is your top 10, and your 10 that will be fighting it out in Q3 after this session. Flappy into the pit lane, and that is the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot move for some reason. Something's going on here. My game must be lagging out or something, to be fair. But we'll see how it is as we go into Q3, ladies and gentlemen. Right then, everybody, finishing results for qualifying 2 here in Singapore, and we have Hulu, who tops the timetables in the second qualifying session from J7, then from Macca in 3rd position. It is a ERL 1-3 at the moment. It's a 1-3-5-6 if you want to get technical with it, but it is Hulu first, J7 second, Macca 3rd, Slick 4, Flappy Dragon 5, Chow 6, Dan 7, Master 8, Harry 9, and Franz, the final driver in the top 10. That is your top 10 to start Q3. The top 10 to battle it out to see where they start at the start of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Q3 is up next. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, back for qualifying 3 out here in Singapore. We have the final 10 showdown. 10 minutes of qualifying left on the clock, and it is Macca, first driver out there at the moment. And you know what? Speaking of that, we will count up what we have left. I am so very sad to say, because I do commentate for them, there is no over 28s in the top 10 for this Thursday evening. It is Macca, Flappy, Hulu, Chow, Master and Harry, all for ERL. It is Franz, J7, Slick, Dan, all for IFR this weekend. This Thursday even, we don't have any over 28s in the top 10, which is sad to see. But now, as we see Macca towards the line, he makes his way around the final corner, and he will be the first driver to put a time on the board soon as he is on now his flying lap. And Just behind that is another white car. Then comes 2 black cars after that, and we'll see what the times will ramp up to in this qualifying session. We've seen 128s now. We have broken into the 128s, and hopefully we can break into that even more. We can dig a bit deeper in them times even. And let's take a look at this then. Is Maka, who has got the slipstream from his teammate just up ahead, and he goes quickest in the first sector so far, number 3 on that red car at the moment. And let's see if he can put a good time on the board. We'll take a look at this one. Can he master these corners? Sweeping to the left-hand side now. Make sure you don't clip the wall on the outside. Down now towards turns 10 and 11. It's really sweeping to the left now. Then all of a sudden, sharp hand to the right. And over the bridge. Then you go. Then you got the blind corner now. Then to the left, it is the hairpin here in Singapore. As Maka is making his way down towards the end of this lap here in Singapore. Down to turn 15, then 16 and 17 follow next. And that red car with number 3 on it is about to make its way down towards the final corner. Maka with the first time on the board this weekend. What time can it be? And then as he goes around the final corner, it'll be a 1:28.8 for the banker lap. That is quick for the first lap of the weekend. That is the quickest time we saw in qualifying too. We've got 1:28.8 for a banker in the third qualifying session. That is exactly what times we want to see on this Thursday evening. Absolutely brilliant, as we now see a white car of Harry, who's on a flying lap, and Harry is coming towards the line now. What time can Harry put on the board? He can put down a 1:28 flat, and not too bad effort from him at all. Next on the board is Dan with a P4 at the moment, 1:29.4. Not a bad time indeed. 1/10 separates him and his teammate J7. And who else do we have out there at the moment? We do not even have Telemetry. We're going to get that up. That's my bad. And now Franz towards the hairpin here in Singapore, and on to the back straight soon. Down this bit of a straight away and towards the end of sector 2, it'll be a 1:04.7 flat here in Singapore for sector 2 for Franz, as he makes his way now towards the end of the sector and towards the end of the lap as well. Franz is on for not a bad time at the moment. It is his first time of the weekend, the first time actually of this session even, as he makes his way around the final corner. For Franz, it'll be a P7 then, 1:29.7 at the moment. We've gone from 132s to 1:28s in these sessions at the moment. And with 6 minutes of qualifying, we still have time for that to ramp up indeed, and quicker times to come. We will see. Who else do we have? Flappy, who is the invalidator at the moment. Hulu's out there on a lap, and Slick also trying to be slick with it with that no internet. Is heading over the sector 2 line, and it is a 1:04.1 on that time at the moment. Slick with absolutely no internet, no control over that car, but he still sticks it in P2 somehow. 1:28.9 for that lap around, and somehow manages to do that very, very well. And we have Slick, Master, and Franz all on their flying laps at the moment. We've got 5 minutes of qualifying left, and let's see what times we get to see put on the board at the moment. Franz will be the next one to put a time on the board. Franz is making his way now towards the end of the lap, and His fastest time 1:29.7, but he goes into the pit lane now with the end of that for him at the moment. Slick going towards the pit lane, is he now? Yes, he is. Into the pit lane. We have 2 red cars now, and we have one of the blacks coming out of the pit lane. And let's see who they are. It is. Is that Harry? Yes, it is Harry. Harry's on his way out, followed by his teammate. His teammate Chow as well is out there as well. But out of the pit lane now together is Harry and Flappy at the moment. Obviously one of the black cars just up ahead of that as well. The black car of, not Chow, it is of Dan. Out of the pit lane, we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds of qualifying left. Then on to the main race. Qualifying has actually gone quicker than I thought, but we will be getting into the main race just after this. It is Dan who is out on an outlap. Maka, Slick, Harry, Chow and Flappy all out on outlaps at the moment. Franz, the only driver not to be out on an outlap at the moment. We have only a few minutes of qualifying left here in Singapore, and this is the time really, if you want to put a lap on the board, you're going to have to be out of the pit lane in the next few seconds now, or else it will be too late to do so then. Flappy, Hulu, both drivers who have not put a time on the board, but both of them out on their outlaps at the moment, and this is where it really starts to get real, because this is the last 1 minute and 30 seconds of qualifying for the whole entire event then, ladies and gentlemen. We have 10 drivers to battle it out to the end. And 1 minute and 20 seconds to do that in. It is Maka who is up there and on provisional pole at the moment with a 1 minute 28.8. And that is not a bad effort at all. It really isn't. But maybe, as we see the track report, we will see drivers putting quicker times on the board. We have Chow, Dan, J7 all out on their flying laps at the moment, as qualifying is soon to be concluded then. 1 minute left on the clock. Not even that, actually. 50 seconds left on the clock, and we have 3, 4, 5 drivers now out on laps. It is Maka at the moment, who is down on time on provisional pole and cannot do anything in his defence at the moment. Harry is there on a lap and heading towards the end of Sector 1. Slick out there, just starting a lap now. Trying to, like I said, be slick with that car, but with no internet. He's not looking too great on my screen, but he still sets quicker times. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. We have Harry, who goes quickest in the first sector at the moment. Dan, who is improving by half a tenth. As we now see Franz towards the line and him starting his flying lap as well. It is Flappy out there on a lap, and he'll be putting a time on the board soon. Hulu also to head across the Sector 1 line now, and he can do a 26.8. He hasn't put a toe on the board at the moment, but qualifying has concluded, and everybody is out there trying to put a toe on the moment. Maka to cross the line. Does improve by a little bit there, by quite a few tenths. Maka is on provisional pole position at the moment by 128.5. Can anyone deny him, though? On their laps, as Slick is up there, 3 tenths of improvement in the moment. There is a black car towards the line. The black car of J7. No, it's not J7. It's Dan, who spins around at the end. Dan was improving, but ruins it at the very last second. Harry to take provisional pole from Maka at the moment. 128.4. Takes it by a tenth then. This is where it really starts to ramp up then. It's a white car now heading towards the line. Round the final corner he goes. Flappy towards the line. It is P6 for Flappy then with a 129.3 even on that lap around. Now a black car towards the line. The black car of Slick, who takes provisional pole away from Harry. It's a 127.7. That time came out of nowhere. That is absolutely rapid this weekend. Absolutely rapid. And out there at the moment is Master, one of the last drivers to put a toe on the board. Can Master go quicker as he has to cross the line? He managed to get himself up to P4, 3.5 tenth improvement just there. Franz with a 4 tenth improvement as well as he's making his way now towards the end of this lap. And Franz, to be fair, the last driver to put a toe on the board. Can he do well then as he goes across the line? Franz, the last driver, and we didn't get to see where he put himself, but he wasn't quickest, so it should be all right. Franz, P9. And that was a lovely, lovely qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen, as we now go into the end of qualifying and qualifying finishing results. Ladies and gentlemen, the overall results then, and the finishing results for qualifying final session here in Singapore. It is Slick takes pole position from Harry. Harry took it from Maka, but obviously Slick came in at the very end and taking that one away. Slick on pole from Harry, then from Maka in P3. Next up is the race, but remember we have a 5-minute break in between as well. Right then, on the grid, and we have formation lap. Drivers making their way around for the formation, in formation, and towards the line soon. We have Slick, who's disqualified from the session at the very start, so he will not have the greatest start that he wanted. We have 31 laps ahead of us when we get going. And it makes me very, very sad to say, it really does, that we have every single over 28 driver down in the bottom 20, the bottom 11 at the moment. But hopefully they just had a bit of a shock in qualifying, and hopefully they can make their way up towards the top and infect the top, really make their way up there, and hopefully they can bring themselves through up the pack and towards the top positions this weekend over 28. Not being biased or anything, but I do love that league, and hopefully they can do well. Obviously the other leagues, ERL and IFR, are absolutely dominating this championship so far. Everybody in this league at the moment pretty much have won a championship of their own, and this race of champions is going to really prove who is the champion today, and we'll see who can come out ahead and win it. Everybody in this has got immense experience, and we will see who comes out ahead then, as the drivers, the front few, are now finally making their way around towards the line here in Singapore for the Race of Champions, the one-off race, as you know, and the drivers making their way towards the line, lining up in their grid slots. They've been around for a lap, the tyres are warm enough to get going. Drivers coming around the final corner, the last few are about to pull up on the grid. The last one to line up on the grid is Dan's Motorsport. And now, as we are on the grid, are we going to get going? Yes, we are. It'll be Slick leading them away then as we go up to 5 lights here in Singapore for the Race of Champions. It is Slick that leads him away. I cannot see anything. Slick, it is leading away, and Slick down into turn 1 then. He's being challenged by Harry then down the inside. Harry through already into turn 1. Slick is really at the back of this one so far. Macca trying to make his way through as well. But the top 3 already pulling away at the start of this race. It is Harry leading from Slick, from Macca, from J7. The massive carnage at the back, then Green Car trying to go down the inside of one of the reds there. The green on the backside. It is Franz on the backside of Chow at the moment, and he is being overtaken by quite a few drivers at the moment, but up ahead, still moves going on. J7 trying to make a move on Master at the moment. Can he make his way up there? We'll see if he can. There's also moves going up down the inside there from Slick on the backside of Macca. Slick trying to make his way through, but he cannot do it on that lap around. Slick doing his very best. Down the inside, one who is doing his very best is Dan, and Dan gets through past the 2 reds there, makes his way up. It is Chow and Flappy, both having a battle now when he lets his teammate through. Flappy has to drop back there. And now, after all of that, Harry is the guy that comes out ahead so far on lap 1 out of 31. And the guy ahead who is leading and taking the lead away from Slick, who has dropped down 2 positions at the moment. It is Harry from Macca, from Slick, from Master, who has got the cars of J7 at the moment on the backside of him. J7 trying to get through. J7 on the outside. It is the green car against the red one then. Down the inside will send it J7. Can he try and make the move then? He sticks that car to the inside, and that move just works out enough for him to get through, and J7 makes his way up to P4 here in Singapore. Harry quickest out there at the moment and pulling away from second at the moment, but Slick is the guy making his way through past Macca. I cannot really commentate on any of this because Slick's internet is absolutely shocking, believe it or not. But let's have a look at this in the background. Loads of drivers now having a battle at the moment. It's Hulu, Dan, Flappy, Chow, everybody. Hulu also trying to get through. Hulu is through to P5 at the moment. Master side by side with Flappy at the moment. It is Flappy trying to get through past, who is that? It is Master at the moment. And on the backside, it is Master Dan with a 5-second time penalty. And gaining one position, puts one in the wall there. That is one of the drivers, nearly hits the wall. Side by side with this lot at the moment, it is Mezinator and Dan's Motorsport, the 2 drivers on the same team, having an absolutely brilliant battle so far. We have somebody spinning round at the back, bit of carnage going on. Somebody's round, somebody's out actually. It is Master at the moment. There's now Harry on the backside of Slick, and Slicky's got the worst internet I've ever seen. I am so sorry to say, mate, but he is through apparently now past Harry. We didn't even see the move, but he is through. And up and ahead, Dan and Flappy side by side at the moment, and what is going to come out of this one then? Down the inside goes Flappy. Can Flappy get through past Dan? The move is done and dusted, and Flappy up to P6 now, and that is not too bad effort at all. P6 now, lap 3 out of 31. And everybody getting their fastest laps at the moment. Who's that? Is that Ash trying to make moves? There's guys in the backside as well trying to make moves. It is Chow trying to get through past one of the drivers now. Chow is on the side of Dan, and Chow gets that move done and dusted easily, and he is up and through the green car. Chow up to P8 now, and next on his list is Ash, and we'll see if he can get through past him soon. One of the over 28s that he's actually breaking his way in is Ash, and that makes me smile saying that. I am very, very happy to say that indeed. Lap 3 out of 31, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Ash Barker is making his way up. Mac is retired from the session. Will we get a safety car here in Singapore? We did not get one so far. There will be no safety car verdict on that one. Up ahead, it is Slick then leading from Harry, from J7, even from Flappy. Then from Ash side by side. Now it's Flappy and Ash at the moment. Ash making his way up to P4. Ash is absolutely brilliant so far. And into the wall goes Harry. Harry retires. Is it a restart? And ladies and gentlemen, we have a restart. Right, let's get ready to go back again with it then. We had a restart for that race, but we are back again and have 31 laps ahead of us here in Singapore for the Race of Champions. I've heard that apparently half of IFR can't be asked anymore because of something that's happened. So, suit himself. I'm not really too fussed. As long as we get some good racing action, that is all that I want. So let's wait. So we have another 5-minute break now. We're going to get straight into it. I hope we just get straight into it because we've waited too long now. Right, finally we can get back into it then. We will have the formation lap now. Harry leading them away. And we have 16 drivers on the grid for this race. We have about 35 minutes, 30 minutes of racing action ahead of us. And like I mentioned, 16 drivers out there on the grid. Let's get this over and done with then. 31 laps ahead of us. And as we wait for them to go around the track, it is Harry who will lead them away from Maka, Master, Chow, Hulu, Flappy, Dan, Ash, Jeffenor, Obolf, Peninsula, Dan, Turbo Snail, Mesonator, Dans, and Tindex. As the drivers make their way around Flappy Dragger, DNFs from the session at the moment. It is the top 5 that move in unison then all the way up to the top and towards the end of this lap to line themselves up on the grid and start their race even. It's been a long time coming for this one. but thank God we can get going with it straight away just after this. The top 5 making their way around to the final corner and to the line to line up to start this Grand Prix. The rest follow slowly behind them as they make their way towards the line. Already Flappy's obviously sat there on the grid, lined up already, but Harry with the next driver put his car even in his grid position this weekend as he makes his way up to the top and towards his position. P1 that is for Harry. As he lines up, P1, Maka P2, Master P3, and Chow joins Master on the second row. Everybody finally lined up as the lights build up to 5 then here in Singapore for the Race of Champions. Second time around, as now it is lights out, and away we go for a second time around. Harry leads him away from Makadani to turn 1. It's side by side with his teammate battling as hard as they can, but number 95 on that Harry car right up to P1 and maintains that lead at the moment. Maka second so far, who has got the pressure from his teammate in P3 at the moment. Hulu's dropping down already. There's a load of contact even at the back. We'll see what goes on down. That dive bomb down the inside from Dan takes out Chow at the moment then. These two drop back and more drivers past them as that happens there. And now we have this move going on as well from Dan on the backside of Chow. Can Dan get through past Chow? Yes, he can now onto the backside of the green cars. Can we see if he gets through past these as well of Dan and Obolf right on the backside of these now. It is Dan against Dan. I didn't even realise this. Both of them battling as hard as they can to get past each other to try and see who is the better man at the end of this one. Lap 31 out of lap 1 out of 31, ladies and gentlemen. We already have Ash gone round, who at the start of the other race was doing very, very well, and now finding themselves in P16 at the moment, and most of over 28s are sadly down in the bottom 10 at the bottom 11 at the moment. And we have a VSC Ash with no wing on that car at all as the pack gets neutralised down. The pack gets neutralised down with the VSC, and it's Harry that is up ahead from Maka. Mezzanator with the drive-through penalty after that one, but you're racing once again here in Singapore. Is Harry still leading from Maka, from Master, from Hulu? But the top 5 are really pulling away from the rest of them at the moment. It is Harry who goes quickest out there at the moment. Is there stuff going on at the back? Yes, there is quite a lot of drivers going into the pit lane. Actually, I was not expecting that, and sadly, all of them are the over 28s drivers as well. It is Jeff and Up, Mezzanator, Ash, and all of them in the pit lane at the moment. That is not what we want to see at all, especially for the over 28s. They do not want to see that one as well. With Dan's Motorsport in P10 at the moment and pushing his way through positions on the backside of Chow now. On the backside, like I mentioned, and see, tries to put his car on the outside, but can he get through? No, he can't so far. It's lap 2 out of 31, and he's pushing his car as hard as he can now. Puts it to the inside, dives it down the inside. He executes that one brilliantly. Dan's Motorsport tries to get through past the car of Chow. He tries his very best. Chow gets the better exit out of that one, and Chow comes out the better man so far. Dan's Motorsport just pulls away ahead at the moment. Can he get through? Yes, he can. In the backside, someone goes into the barriers there. It is Tindex goes into the wall, bringing out the VSC once again on lap 2 out of 31, and that is not what we want to see at all, but it is another little VSC. Still, VSC out there on track at the moment, the top 5, all from the ERL team at the moment. ERL are, it's safe to say, are absolutely dominating this race so far. Lap 3 out of 31, and we are doing not too bad so far at the moment. DRS is now enabled, and we are racing once again. Harry up again, up there, and really got the start done and dusted there brilliantly. It is Flappy Dragon on the backside of Obolf. Can he get through and push past that position? We will just have to see. His drivers in the pit lane. It's Chow in the pit lane, but Maka gets through past Harry just there. Master manages to overtake him. Now the gap between them is 0.3 of a second, and Maka manages to get up ahead and now leading the Singapore Grand Prix side by side, pushing each other off the track now. It's Obolf and Flappy. Somebody else goes through as well. It is Dan And Obov loses 2 positions in the space of about 10 seconds just there. That is not what he wanted at all. Trying his best, but he did drop back, and this car is just got an Alfa Romeo out there really on track, haven't we? Let's see, what have we got going on just up ahead? It is Harry on the backside of Maka. Remember, Maka managed to get through past Harry actually on the previous lap, and now we will see if Harry can come out the better man on this one and manage to make his way back and pass through Maka on this lap around. Maka managed to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Harry is hungry for that position. He wants to take that one back then, as he's following closely on the backside of him, and now down towards the end of this lap and around the final corner in Singapore. Harry on the backside of Maka. The gap is 6/10. Nothing really will happen down the back straight, and we will wait and see for anything else soon. Mezzanator out there on track at the moment, goes quickest out of the lot. Obviously Mezzanator from the over 28s and manages to go quickest out of the 15 on the track so far. Lap 4 out of 31. We are doing not too bad at the moment. Ash in the over 28s as well goes quicker there. He did drop back at the back and on the fresher tyres. Gets the quicker lap on the board at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see what is going on up ahead. The gap between first and second is now 6/10 of a second. And what else we got going on around the track? Some of these, the black cars, black and green, are bunching up, and also the white cars up ahead are doing brilliantly, dominating this race so far. It's Maka from Harry, Master, Hulu, and Flappy, all on the same team, all in the top 5, and they are dominating so far. The one left out of the pack at the moment is Chow down in P13. He should be up there with his guys, but he's not up there actually. And we are on lap 5 out of 31, and the drivers making their way up the positions. He's not doing too bad at all, and we will see what we have got going on just up here then. Have we got somebody making a move? We have Flappy Dragon. As Ash goes quickest, and we have Hulu managed to drop back behind Flappy, and Flappy gets through and past Hulu up to P4. Passes his teammate, and that's nothing for him just there, as Maka still leading the race. 8 between him and Harry now. Harry's actually struggling to stay up and ahead and try and get through past his teammate. Back up ahead, we still have the same battle going on between these lot, and it's just back and forth for the whole race so far. It is Hulu on the backside of Flappy Dragon. We also have Dan, who is making his way up there on positions at the moment. Maybe he can make his way through. It is Tindex who's retired, and we have a safety car, ladies and gentlemen. On lap 6 out of 31, Tindex retires, and 15 drivers remain here in Singapore. 1 out, 15 left, and now that is going to neutralise the pack, and we will get racing once again just in the next few moments' time. as we see Maka make his way into the pit lane. His teammate follows him in. Flappy stays out for trap position, so does Hulu. Dan goes in. Obolf goes in. Quite a few are actually deciding to go in. Peninsula, also the other world champion, goes into the pit lane. And we have now Master, who stayed out and gained track position here in Singapore from Flappy, from Hulu, from Dan's. Over 28 to breaking the way in, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment. Right then, lap 8 out of 31 here in Singapore, and we have 15 drivers left in the Grand Prix. We have Tindex, who retired earlier, brought out this safety car, and obviously 15 remain. We will see. There's a few drivers at the back who have not yet joined up, and there's also Jeffinaut at the back who hasn't joined up as well, and hopefully they can get joined up before the safety car goes in and we get racing once again here in Singapore, because we've been on the safety car for a few laps now and it is well due to come in soon. But as we head towards the end of Sector 2, we will be sure to see when the safety car will be coming in. We should find out pretty soon, maybe down this back straight if it is coming in at the end of this lap. Quite a lot have not joined up, to be fair. Actually, never mind. Majority have joined up now. Only 2 are yet to join up the rest of the pack as we make our way towards the end of the lap, and safety car will not be coming in at the end of this lap unless it's a super late call. And it will not, as we have one more lap under the dreaded safety car, and it is Master into the pit lane. Was not expecting that. Flappy, never mind. I was expecting that because now the rain starts pouring. The rain starts coming down. We have wet conditions out here in Singapore that are starting to emerge from the clouds, and rain starting to pour here at the moment. Everybody going into the pit lane to get their new, fresh, wet compound tyres on. Maka stayed out on the softs. Dan stayed out on the softs as well. Was that a good idea, boys? I'm not too sure at all. But that will pan out at the end of this one. Lap 9 out of 31. Safety car should be restarting on the 10th lap of this Grand Prix. And as you can see, the rain is coming down a lot heavier. It is starting to really pour now here in Singapore, and we have lap 9 out of 31. One more lap probably. I think this will be the lap that we come in on the safety car. Drivers stayed out up ahead on the softs. I mean, that was not a good decision at all, was it? Because safety cars come in at the end of this lap. Everyone will go storming past them racing. They're going to have to go in the pit lane and put new compound tyres on. At the moment then, as we will get racing on the 10th lap of this race and nearing halfway race distance as well in today's race, but now making their way around towards the end of this sector and towards the end of the lap. The last lap of the safety car being here, and the safety car speeds off in the distance, goes into the pit lane, and now we see Maka and Dan position their cars towards the pit lane, taking the lead with Peninsula from the over 28s. That is what we love to see. Peninsula now starting the Grand Prix once again, restarting the race. Once again, the over 28s are really starting to emerge now in the top few drivers. It is Peninsula from Master, from Flappy, from Hulu, then from Dan's Motorsport and Turbo. Both the over 28s are making their way up into the pack at the moment. Behind it is Master and Flappy and Hulu all together at the moment, and hopefully we get some good battling going on between them. I'm not biased at all, but the over 28s, it makes me very happy to see that they are up and in the top positions at this moment in time then. On the 10th lap, and not really too much is going on. We did restart. We've had everybody closer together at the moment, and will that change anything then in this Grand Prix? Is down at the back from Mack, who had to both go in the pit lane, and they did not want that one at all, did they? But it is what happened, and really they should have gone into the pit lane, but they know that now. And up ahead now, it is the two drivers trying to battle away. It is Flappy and Master trying to get past each other. These two on the backside at the moment. More stuff going on the backside. As someone goes to the wall, it's Dan into the barriers. Will that be another safety car? Yes, it will. Lap 10 out of 31. The rain is coming down, and the rain causes things like this. And Dan goes into the barriers here in Singapore. Lap 10 out of 31, nearing the half race distance. And there is another car, a big shunt into the barriers. And up ahead, it is Peninsula into the pit lane at the moment. Everybody else stays out, gains their track position. Quite a few drivers, two drivers actually going to the pit lane, Peninsula and Dan's Motorsport, but that is that. And lap 11 out of 31, safety car will probably restart around lap 14. Oh, are we on? Yes, we are. Never mind, nearly dropped my control. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on lap 12 out of 31. And Master, who is leading from Flappy, from Hulu at this moment in time. Then from Turbo Snail, the over 28 driver who's made his way up to P4 at the moment. Chow P5, Harry P6, Peninsula 7, Dan's Motorsport 8. The other Dan, P9, Mezzinator, rounds off the top 10 so far here in Singapore. And the safety car should be coming in pretty soon. It will either be this lap or the lap after that. But we will see what happens today then. Is lap 12 out of 31. The drivers making their way around towards the end of Sector 2 soon. And that is the cue, ladies and gentlemen. That is the cue we are looking for. Safety car to come in at the end of this lap finally. And we will be racing again on lap 13. My prediction was lap 14, but I got it one lap wrong. And now it is Master who will make his way and basically become the effective safety car as they make their way towards the end of this lap. It's been a very long lap, 2 minutes odd lap. That is very long here in Singapore, but Master will lead the drivers around to the end of this lap on lap 12 out of 31, making their way onto lap 13 out of 31, getting ready to go racing again. The safety car goes in lap 7 on lap 12 out of 31 even. They go racing again. It is Master from Flappy, from Hulu, from Turbo. All the big bunch at the moment, but there's somebody trying to get past at the back there. It is Dan the Motorsport already making up positions at the moment. I think he's been overtaken. Never mind, it's Dan who's just got past two of the cars there. Both retired from the session at the very start just there, and now it's Hulu on the backside of Turbo Snail. Can Turbo Snail be as quick as he normally is at the moment? He's trying to hold on to it for over 28 so far. Hulu's trying to push through at the moment on the backside of him, but we'll see where they end up at the end of this one. Hulu with the beautiful slipstream on the backside of Turbo Snail. Chow got a better slipstream on the backside of Hulu though at this moment in time. Peninsula getting overtaken once again. Peninsula getting overtaken twice there as Mezzinator gets through past him as well. But on the backside, the over 28 drivers battling away. Ash gets through past Jeffinaut, and Ash now to P12 at this moment in time and making his way up there. We'll see if he can get through past that lot. As it is Flappy and Master, the two drivers on the same team and battling ahead at the moment, carrying their team on the shoulders up ahead. And Flappy has got the drive to the outside. His teammate lets him through, I think, and Flappy gets through past Master just there, up to P1 past his teammate, and on lap 13 out of 31 gets that move done and dusted. We've got the rainy conditions still out here in Singapore, and hopefully they clear up soon. They will be clearing up later on, but we do not know what lap that will be. It is down on the backside of Chow now. Chow on the inside, down on the outside, and trying to force his way through if he can. We've got a big line of cars at the moment. Down a bit iffy on the exit there because of the rain as they make their way around the final corner. And for the 14th time, they do this as well. It's into the pit lane, goes one of the over 28 drivers, even Peninsula goes into the pit lane, and somebody else coming onto the track quite dangerously there. It is Jeffinaut and Dan's Motorsport up ahead. There's more moves going on between Dan and Chow. Dan trying to get down the inside of Chow. Can he get through on lap 14 out of 31? He's trying his very hardest now, and he does manage to get through just there. Dan gets the move done and dusted. That is what he was looking for the whole race. And it is Flappy up ahead then, with an 8/10 gap between him and Master at the moment, and not doing too bad in himself at all. He's got Master behind, but Master's got Turbo on the backside of him. Turbo has got Hulu on the backside of him though. Hulu is really pushing him for this position now, tries to go around the outside in these very wet conditions. You've got to be careful to do moves like this, as he now is on the backside and see if he can get through. Tries to the inside at the moment, but cannot get that move done just as of yet. We do have a VSC, ladies and gentlemen, on lap 14 out of 31, a VSC, and I think y'all's predictions are starting to come correct. We have got quite a lot of safety cars and VSCs so far, only on the 14th lap. You got to remember it. Obviously, as Maka has retired, you got to remember we do have, oh, never mind, another safety car, full safety car, ladies and gentlemen, back again for about the third time. This is not what you want to see. It is not the most fun thing at all, and that's another wing broken here in Singapore, and that will be another driver into the pit lane as soon as they can. As that is Dan in the pit lane. Dan, the only driver to do so at the moment. Never mind, because Mezzaneti goes in as well. So does Ash. So does Jeffinaut. Dan's and Peninsula is at the back so far. But safety car is out. And hopefully we will get racing again soon. That's Dan out of the session in the pit lane as well. And we only have 11 drivers left here in Singapore. This is turning out to not be a brilliant race at the moment. But hopefully the racing can get better towards the end of it. Not too sure when the safety car will be coming in because everybody has to join up. There's still quite a few at the back that haven't yet joined up. We've got 11 drivers left on the 15th lap of this Grand Prix. Now leading is Flappy from Master, Turbo, Hulu, Harry, Chow, Mezzanator, Ash, Jeffinaut, Dans and Peninsula. All left in this race, and that is the racing order that we have on the board so far. Going round to start the 16th lap and then into the second half of this race, ladies and gentlemen. So, lap 16 out of 31. We are over halfway into this race, and that is very good as the rain is coming down. You've never seen it heavier than this. It is coming down very, very quick and in huge amounts at the moment. Everybody is on the intermediate tyres at the moment, and soon it should be clearing up. Hopefully, that'll be good to see when it does. But what about 3 safety cars? As we are racing again in Singapore, there is 11 drivers left in this race, and Flappy still leading from Master, Hulu, Harry, Mezzanator, Chow. Flappy got the start done and does it brilliantly. And on lap 17 out of 31, still leading the Grand Prix, but he is being hunted down by Master in second at the moment. We've got Dan's Motorsport making the moves as well on the backside of Chow. Dan's managed to get through. We've got Mezzanator on the backside as well of Harry. Mezzanator will send that car to the inside of Harry. The rain changes some people's driving styles because look at this. Mezzanator is going to send it on Harry. Can he get through? Mezzanator try and get through now. Harry sticks it back down the inside. It's side by side between these two, but Mezzanator with the better drive to the outside, and Mezzanator up and through past Harry on that lap around just there. As now we have Ash as well. We have Ash on the backside of Chow. The over 28s are breaking into the top drivers. It is Mezzanator in 4, Dan's Motorsport in 6, Ash down in 8th, and Jeffinaut 9, Peninsula 10, who goes round. Commentator's curse, and he's gone round, and sadly, not sadly, good actually that he didn't hit the barrier. Very, very good indeed. Peninsula P11 at the moment on the backside. Now we have one of the over 28s of Ash trying to get through past Chow. Yes, he does. He gets through. Now on the backside, it's Hulu on the backside of Harry. Can Hulu get through past him? I don't think he can, but Dan's Motorsport can get through past Hulu. Dan sends it to the inside. Dan gets through on the wet compound tyres, the full wets at the moment. Hulu goes off the track onto the slip road. Does he get through past him again? It's Hulu and Dan side by side once again. Dan's is ahead at the moment, but who gets to stay ahead? Dan's managed to stay ahead. It's P5 for him and the over 28s at the moment. That is what he wants to see. Lap 18 out of 31, ladies and gentlemen, and we are doing not too bad so far. Let's hope we can keep this up. Soon enough, the dry compound tyres will be coming out once again, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be racing at full pelt, full speed, racing once again. Then it's down the inside, sends it Ash on the backside of Hulu. Ash Barker up to P6, the man who organised all of this is up to P6. Mezzanator is up to P2. Where's this come out of? Mezzanator and the over 28s are bringing themselves back into the fight this weekend. Mezzanator to second, Dan's to 5th, Ash to 6th. They're really bringing themselves into this so far at the moment. We'll have to see what else they can do with the rest of the laps ahead of us. It is Flappy that still leads by 1.5 seconds from Mezzanator, from Master, Harry, Ash, Dan's, Hulu, Chow, Jeffinaut, Turbo, and Peninsula. But we'll see if anything else is going to go happen there. Teammates here battling away. Harry and Master at the moment. Master still leading up ahead from in third even. 1.5 seconds the gap between him and Mezzanator. But the gap between him and Harry is now 1/10 of a second. And now closing then is Harry around the outside. Sends it on his teammate, and Harry up to P3 on lap 18. Mezzanator with a 3-second time penalty as well. We have lost 5 drivers in today's race. We had 16. We started with 18 actually, then we had 16, then we now have 11, and way over half race distance now, and we don't have too long left actually. We have 11 drivers left, and we have Flappy that's still leading up ahead, who's actually being challenged by Mezzanator at the moment. Mezzanator manages to get through and up past him. Finally, we have a new leader. It is Mezzanator to P1 then at the moment. 2/10 separates him and the leading car. Flappy is back ahead now and battling again. Flappy regains the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Mezzanator, the only driver with penalties at the moment, and that is expected to be fair in a race of champions, but the rain seems to be easing off just a little bit, and we should have dry conditions in the next few laps time, which will be good to see, because then we are racing back at full pelt and you really see the full speed and potential of these drivers in this league then. As lap 19 out of 31. And up ahead, something's gone on because Flappy Dragon's gone round. Mezzanator takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Harry to second. Everybody moves up one, and now back into the fight goes Flappy, but not enough to get past anybody at the moment. He falls into the mix at the wrong time. Mezzanator still leading from Harry. Then Harry's going to try and send it around the outside of this one. Harry, who goes around the outside. He does not actually manage to do it. Can Ash get through there? Ash to a position open up there. So now we've got a pod of 4 drivers now going around the final corner. Round the final corner we go. It's Mezzanator from Master, from Harry, from Ash at the moment. And this is the closest we've seen all race so far at the moment. This is exactly what we want to see. The rain is clearing away just a little bit, and we should be back to full racing action in a few moments time, a few laps time. It is Mezzanator leading from Master, and the battle continues on up ahead. It's still scrapping away from the top 4, and we'll continue to keep watching this one. The gap between first and second, 0.2 of a second at the moment. And as you can see, is that Ash? Yes, it is. Ash trying to defend on the backside of Harry. Ash is doing a brilliant job defending from the red car behind him, and he's trying to make his way up towards Master now. He sees a position. He's going to try and capitalise on that and take the position around the outside. It is Ash on the outside of Master. Can he master this move? He puts him in the wall, but he carries on. And it is Ash who drops back the positions. Master into the wall. It is Harry second. Now Flappy third. Chow 4. It is Ash down to 5th at the moment. As you can see, the rain is clearing away here in Singapore. Oh, into the wall. Mezzanator retires at the very, very last few seconds. Will that be a safety car? I don't think it will. We're not going to get a safety car, ladies and gentlemen, for that, as Mezzanator does retire his teammate and Eddie crashes into him. We are still racing at full racing pelt, and Harry is now leading from Flappy, Chow, Ash, Shulu, Jeffernaught. You know the rest. It has all been the same for a while, but it's Ash trying to make the moves on the backside of Chow at the moment. Can he make his way through? He's tried his best, but as we enter the final 10 laps of this race, and not too long left now of this Grand Prix, Harry hasn't really got a lot of time left, so he's going to try and use all of that time to keep his way up and ahead and try and defend off from Flappy behind in second at the moment. Master into the pit lane after having a bit of a shunt into the wall earlier on, and conditions hopefully are drying up because we do want the dry. You can see down into sector 1, end of sector 1 and 2, we do have it getting a little bit dry. You can see the dry lines forming out there on track, and these two are still scrapping away. It is Ash who's making his way back up to the top. After having 16 starting with, we are ending with 10 in this race, with not too many laps to go and nearing the end of this very, very long night. He should have only been about an hour and a half, but because of certain reasons that have messed things up, we have been on for a lot longer than that. And Jeffernaught is going to try and make his way through past Hulu on the backside of the red car, and the over 28s are really trying to make an effort in this race. Speaking of making an effort, Ash makes his way up to P2. Now, simultaneously, Jeffernaught tries to make his way past Hulu on that lap around, and is that Hulu drops back? Yes, he does. Hulu into the escape road there and moves up the over 28s by a few positions each just there, and up ahead still Harry leading from Ash, who is 7/10 behind him at the moment and trying to make his way up, but the rain is not actually clearing up as much as we'd like it to at the moment. We are on to the last 9 laps of this Grand Prix. But there is not really too much racing action going on around at the moment. There's quite a few at the back. It's Hulu, Dans and Master, all who have dropped back from the pack, and they're kind of leading their own race at the moment here in Singapore. They're on their own at this moment in time, but it is Harry up and ahead, and he's had an absolutely brilliant race so far. Drivers were ahead of him, but they've crashed out. He's managed to stay up there. No drivers with penalties on the grid at the moment, which is exactly what we want to see, so everybody will finish where they finish on track for positions this weekend, but it is Harry from Ash from Flappy at the moment, and no racing action really is taking place apart from this, which I am missing. Then the over 28 drivers having a bit of a battle now. Don't take each other out because you're on the same team, boys. But Peninsula managed to get through past Jeffinaut. Now Peninsula on the backside of Turbo Snail, and we'll see if his teammate is kind enough to let him through. And it is Ash, the over 28 driver, who's really trying to make an impression here then, is wheel banging with the leader of Harry at the moment. Ash and Harry having the battle of their life then to go around turn one, around the final corner, even onto the main straight. And Harry just comes out ahead on that one. It's Ash who tries to stay ahead, but the gap is now 3 tenths, 4 tenths, and gaining at the moment as they go into turn one. And is Harry still leading from Ash? But now we know that Ash has got the speed in him to make his way through, and that is exactly what we want to see here in the race of champions. Then Ash on the backside, the gap coming down lower than the 10th there, really close, really close on the backside, but Ash is making his way through. He's on the backside, he's got the slipstream, he's got the overtake button activated. Then Ash has got all the power in the world at the moment then as he sends his car down the inside, and Ash for the over 28 makes his way up to the top, leading the Singapore Grand Prix from Harry, who is trying to put his car around the outside. Can he do it? No, he can't. And Ash manages to stay ahead for the over 28. That is absolutely brilliant. And the over 28s will be very happy about that one indeed. Their man Ash Barker up there leading the Grand Prix. And the rest of the guys down in P5, 6, 7 and 9. Not too bad at all really though. With not too many laps to go at all now. We're very nearing the end of this Grand Prix. It is not too long left at all. And I cannot believe that Ash is leading. That is absolutely brilliant. Ash up ahead. It is the 2 over 28s battling from Peninsula and Turbo Snail. Peninsula, as we know, the latest world champion on Fridays, is now in P5 and making his way up past through the field. Even we'll see if he can make his way up there. We do not want any more safety cars in this race. We've had too many, so hopefully we don't get any more. As you can see, it is clearing up. It is dry conditions now, ladies and gentlemen. Drivers going into the pit lane. It is Ash from Flappy going into the pit lane to put the dry compound tyres on. Sorry, Ash from Harry, and then from Chow. Lap 24 out of 31, and Ash still not really much going on. We've lost 6 drivers, and hopefully DRS is now enabled and we are racing once again. So it is Flappy up ahead, 23 seconds. He's still out on the intermediate. So as it stands, Ash will be the guy that will be leading then, because we are on completely dry conditions. Soft compound tyres have come out, which means there's only a few laps to go in this race. Everybody will be driving at their quickest possible pace now to get to the end of this Grand Prix. We are nearly at the end, and Flappy into the pit lane to put his soft compound tyres on. We do love to see them red tyres because it means that the drivers will be going absolutely rapid. Everybody on the softs then here in Singapore, and Ash will come around the final corner to overtake Flappy in the pit lane. Will he make it towards the end? Yes, he will, and Ash regains the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Then from Harry, Flappy to third. And what have we got going on in the background? We will have a look. We've got Master, Danz, and Hulu, all leading their own races really at the back. We have obviously, like I did mention earlier, we've got white ERL, black IFR, and over 28s is the orange cars. And by the looks of it, over 28s are making their way back up and into the pack. We have the whites of ERL who are doing well to be up there as well, but it is quite sad to say that the black cars of IFR, there's no IFR cars left in this race, and IFR will not do good in this, to say the least. They were doing brilliant, really, but it didn't all work out for them in the end, and it is Ash leading from Harry still. Ash for the over 28s got the redemption that he needed, and hopefully he can stay up and ahead and maybe try and win this Grand Prix. Today, lap 25 going on to lap 26 out of 31. And these soft compound tyres should just last enough time to get to the end of this race. Harry goes quickest. Harry is actually gaining on the backside of Ash now. Then comes Hulu to go quickest out of everyone. Hulu down in P8, and he will take away that point with the fastest lap. Hopefully he can hold that position and hold that point as well. He would like to make his way up there from P8, and hopefully he can do that. Master then takes that away. I've just completely put the commentator's cursor on him because Master goes quickest out of the lot, and Hulu does not get the quickest, fastest lap point anymore. Up ahead, the gap between first and second, 5/10. Then it is 4.6 seconds. So that is the closest gap we've got so far. And hopefully we do see a battle between these, because coming to the end of this race, we'd love to see a last lap battle. I would love to see that indeed. And Harry has got the DRS on the backside of Ash at the moment. Will that be enough to get him closer to Ash down here? It will be for a little bit, but he breaks very, very late there and tries to get a good corner X out of there. Ash for the 3-second time penalty. That is going to switch it up quite a lot, isn't it? Because Harry's only half a second behind, so if it finishes like this, trap positions will take over, penalties will take over, and it will be Harry that'll take the lead and win the Grand Prix. At the end of this, Ash has really got to put on his put on the rocket in the back of that car. And speaking of that, he does go fastest out of the session at the moment, but he really, really needs to pull away from Harry now, because with that 3-second time penalty in these last few laps remaining, the 4 laps to go here in Singapore, he's got to either hope that Harry gets a 3-second time penalty as well, or Ash can pull away. And at the moment, it is not looking like Ash can pull away at all at the end of this Grand Prix. Harry is just managing to stay close enough, stay in that contention then for this. If the win is on the horizon for him, really, he can see it. It is in grasp for Harry, and if he sticks close enough, he can get through and past him, and then Ash has got absolutely no chance to win this Grand Prix. He has to gain 3 seconds or hope that Harry gets a 3-second time penalty. And as it stands and as it's looking, Harry is most likely going to be able to get past Ash at the moment. He is really, really managing to keep on the backside of him. Harry knows how important this is. He knows that these are the last few laps of the race, and these are the ones where he really has to put everything into. He has to put all the effort that he has, everything, into this then, as he's on the backside once again of Ash, and now once again cannot be close enough to get past him just there, but now onto the back straight. And Harry, will he get enough speed then to get through past Ash? Down the back straight on lap 27 out of 31. It's Harry on the backside of Ash. P1 and P2. Will he get through then? Down here, no, he will not, and Ash holds onto it once more. It doesn't even matter if Ash can defend as well as he is, because still as it stands, Harry will take the win here in Singapore, but only a few laps to go. And on to lap 28, we've got 3 laps to go here in Singapore, and these laps are counting down quick then. At the end of this, it's Ash still leading from Harry, and Harry's actually gaining very, very much now. That's the only battle we've actually got going on around, because everything else is shocking so far. So we'll keep watching this P1 and 2 battle up ahead for the final few laps of this race. Everybody on the softs, it's dry compound tyres. We are racing at full speed. This is the quickest that they can go, and this is absolutely rapid so far. Then Harry is gaining on Ash, and this might be where he can get through him. He's close to him, but he couldn't get close enough just there to get through at the moment, and Harry has to concede and stay back on the backside of Ash, and this must be so annoying for him at the moment. But you know what? He doesn't really care, does he? Because if he doesn't drop back 3 seconds, it is Harry's race win easy in the bag, and he knows that third position as well has a time penalty, so Harry is absolutely sorted for this race. He really is, because the race win is easy on the line for him there. It is 6 tenths between him and the car ahead, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. Now Harry, he's gaining and gaining and gaining on the backside of Ash, and once again, not enough to get through. Ash is absolutely defending brilliantly. We'll see, he's on 24% ERS. We have Harry, who is on 16% ERS, and is trying their best to save it for the end of this Grand Prix. As I make the way around the final corner onto the main straight, and it is still Ash leading, 5 tenths separate them. At this rate, Ash is not going to be able to pull away as much as he wants to, and at this rate, it is going to be Harry's race win, but I do not want to put the commentator's curse on him. We want to see them do very well, and we'll see what happens then, as towards the end of this Grand Prix, only 2 laps to go today. It is at the very end. We are really closing in on the end. We're about to conclude this Grand Prix, and Harry is gaining and gaining once again on Ash. We're going to get a move here. No, we are not. And once again, he has to stay back on the back side of him. The gap is 3 tenths, and it is the same thing every single lap. Hulu with a 3-second time penalty as well. We've got 3 people with time penalties now on the board, and hopefully we can see Harry gain the time and make his way up past Ash. The gap is now 2.5 tenths, and at the moment it is looking like Harry might be able to find the pace and make his way up and past Ash at the end of this Grand Prix. There's only a few laps to go, a couple laps to go actually, not too many at all, and Harry is on the back side of Ash. Now the first back straight we go, and he is not close enough to get through on this one. Now we try the second one, and Harry looks to get a good exit out of that one. So does Ash though. Ash always with a better exit, and now down the back straight we go. The second back straight, Harry on the back side of Ash. Can Harry finally do it? No, he doesn't. He stays back. Doesn't actually challenge it. He knows that he's going to win the race anyway, so he doesn't even need to overtake him. As we now go on to the final, lap 30 out of 31, and now we do officially have 2 laps to go. That is it. We have this one and the final lap. And on lap 30 out of 31, battle between first and second still continues to play on. There's another battle at the back actually, 4 tenths between them. It is Dans and Hulu. And you know what, for a bit of a change, we're going to watch this one for now to see if Dans can catch up on Hulu. He is catching up, so far cannot get up enough to get past him. Who was that? It was Downs who managed to get past Hulu. The battle that we were watching unfold finally happened, and Downs managed to make his way through and up to P8 for the over 28. Ash, who we was all congratulating, getting excited about for being up there and leading the race for the over 28, as it stands, is not going to win the Grand Prix because Harry is right on the tail of him going into the final lap of today's race. And the gap is 3 tenths. The time penalty is 3 seconds. And as we go around the final corner, it is Ash leading from Harry. It all looks brilliant for Ash, but as soon as you realise the actual backstory of it and the time penalties, Harry is really the one behind, smiling and grinning, because he knows that he is going to win this Grand Prix at the end of this lap. We are on the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix, finally, after such a long night, ladies and gentlemen, such a long night. It is Ash from Harry, the battle that we've been watching for so long, and we will not watch anything else then, because this is the battle of this Thursday night. This is the one that we are watching. We are going to focus on this one. Harry on the backside of Ash. Harry is going to love it if he can manage to get through at the end of this lap, on the final lap of today's race. Maybe he's been waiting for the last lap to do it on, and he's just been staying back for the previous laps. That is a possibility. We'll have to see if that is something he was doing. But let's see what happens then, as we are making our way down now towards the end of Sector 2, and this long dragged along race has finally nearly put the brakes on it. We're nearly at the end of this long race, and it is Ash from Harry going around into Sector 3 now, the final sector of this lap here in Singapore. And what a battle we've witnessed between these two, Ash and Harry. 0.5 gap between them as they make their way around now towards the end of this lap. It's been a brilliant battle between both of them. At the end of it, Mr. Ash Barker will cross the line for the over 28 to take the win on track for Singapore, but it's Harry on time penalties to take the win here in Singapore from Ash, from Flappy that will cross the line in third, then from Chow in third actually because Flappy goes down to fourth with time penalties. Peninsula for the over 28s takes home fifth, then from Turbo Snail in sixth, Jeffinaut takes seventh. Dan's Motorsport will come across the line and claim eighth position, then from Hulu at the end, who will come round, do a little bit of a donut, reverse across the line, and he will spin his car around and get that car all in working order. He will cross the line, and Master is absolutely miles away. We need to wait for him to cross the line still. But as soon as that is over with, we see Hulu go to P9, and now you watch Master at the end of this, head his way up to the end of Sector 2 and conclude this race for us. Master, though, let me just say, is going quicker in the middle sector. Actually, quickest out of everybody. And are we going to see a fastest lap at the end of this Grand Prix? Master will cross the line, come around the final corner to cross the line and end this Grand Prix. Will it be quickest? It will be Master with the quickest time at the end. Fastest lap for him at the end. And that is the end of the Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long, long night, but thank you for joining me. And we will really quickly just take a look at podium celebrations and then the finishing results, and then we are done. Ladies and gentlemen, finishing results then for the Grand Prix here in Singapore. It was a very, very long one, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy that that is over. It's the Race of Champions for you, the one-off race that we've had this weekend. It has lasted 2.5 hours, but we are at the end of it, and it is Harry that takes the win on time penalties from Ash, from Chow, Flappy Dragon, Peninsula, Turbo Snail, Jeffinaut, Dan's Motorsport, Hulu, and Master that takes the fastest lap, and P10 at the end of the Grand Prix. So thank you very much for joining me. And I will be back commentating on other leagues because this is one-off. So back commentating on other leagues probably in a few weeks' time after the new year.